again, Jungle Explorer here, and today we're going to be talking about making bacon, okay? Or making bacon. And what we're using here is, I got a nice wild sow, about 200-pound hog. You can see the picture here. And just really super fat. Now you can't make bacon out of just any old hog. It's got to be a really fat one, and you can see right here this one has a lot of thick fat on it, at least an inch or more, so it's good for making bacon. Now this is actually the hindquarter, or the ham. On a wild hog, you're not going to be able to make good bacon out of the stomach flap area that you would normally be able to make bacon out of on a domestic hog, because those hogs are bred specifically to have an even spread of fat and meat in between that stomach flap. But on a wild hog, you can make bacon pretty much. The idea of bacon is basically fat and meat. So you can actually make bacon out of any part of the hog. It doesn't have to be a specific area. So what I've done is deboned the leg and just laid it out like that. So it's pretty thick. And so what we're going to do here is cut it in half first. Start by cutting it in half here. When making bacon, just think about what a nice slab of bacon looks like. Not the slice kind, the slab. So we got that right there. That already looks like kind of like a little slice of bacon, doesn't it? Right there. So we'll just trim this off right here. Kind of make it even. Make it even. Just cut that down. Trim that off. And looky there. So nice little slab of bacon right there. This right here. Just we'll put it in the same bacon and make it for using for beans and stuff. I mean, bacon is basically just a cured ham, but with some brown sugar and stuff in it. I mean, it's not really anything. All hams are essentially, it's just cured ham. It's just a specific flavoring that it has to it, and you're curing something with a lot more fat in it, so that you can fry it up and have bacon. So, same thing as a ham. I'm going to do more of a dry cure, so I'm going to go ahead and get this side over here. Kind of even it up a little bit. Trim it. Trim that off. Trim that part off right there. And just trim it down a little bit right here. And there we go. Now, you might think that's a little big, but on whenever you're making or whenever you're curing ham, you're going to take a lot of the water out, so it's actually going to shrink down and be more condensed in the end. So we're just cut some of this stuff out of there. So basically, there we have two bacons made out of the ham on the hog. And so next, I'm going to mix up the cure and show you how to do that. Okay, so we're ready to mix up our cure here. We're going to be using 4 ingredients for our cure. Going to be using Morton coarse kosher salt, brown sugar, coarse ground black pepper, and pink salt, which is the nitrates that are going to prevent bacteria from growing. This is a key element in curing and what makes making ham and bacon possible. So what we're going to do is go ahead and mix up the coarse salt. I've already poured it out here into another pan. And we're going to mix that in there. So 1 box. It depends on how much meat you're going to do. I go ahead and mix up it all, a whole bunch. I actually have a lot of meat to do today. I'm going to turn the entire pig into bacon. So I'm going to end up with about 100 pounds of bacon here. And but anyways, so I'm going to use the whole box, and if you mix up a batch and you don't use it all, you can always store it for later. So 1 box of that kosher salt there, and we're going to put about half this bottle in here of these nitrates, the sodium pink salt. Okay, so that's about half of that bottle. That's right there is going to prevent all the bacteria and botulism stuff that would get in there otherwise. Now, you don't have to use black pepper if you don't want to. I like something with a little black pepper in it, so you could skip this part here. But I do like black pepper, so I'm going to put some of that in there. Not too much. Don't want to make it overly hot. The amount of sugar you put in it is just kind of a personal taste, whatever you really like. Some people like a lot, some people like a little. I'm going to put about half of this bag in here. You can put the whole bag. The more sugar you put in it, it'll taste really good, but the harder it is to cook, it'll stick a lot on your pan. So, you know, we'll use about half a pound there, or about a pound of brown sugar. And then we're just going to mix this all up and get it really good and mixed. Mix it really, really good. This is a dry cure. We're going to dry cure this. There's also a wet cure you can do. You know, and I'm not going to say one is better than the other. This is what was taught to me by a good friend of mine, and I've done some hams and some bacons this way. It really turns out good, just everybody's really liked it. So it's kind of one of those things. There's many other ways to do this. This is just one way. It's not the best way. It's really the best way is whatever you like. But this is a way to do it. So we're just going to go ahead and just get that nice and mixed up. I think I'm going to add a little more black pepper in there. That's a lot of cure there. I do like pepper. I grow my own peppers, hot peppers. I like hot peppers. So black pepper to me really is not what I would consider a hot pepper. It would be just, to me, it's more like a bell pepper. But anyways, so we're just mixing this up, breaking up those sugar clumps in there, just kind of getting her all mixed up here. There we go. That's looking really good. Okay, so got that mixed up. So we have the two bacons that we made earlier that were cut down to the right size. Bacon slabs there. We're going to take some of this mixture and put it over here in this cookie sheet. And basically all we're going to do is just kind of coat this on all sides. We just want to get a good coat of this cure on all sides of this thing, of this slab. Just coat it like that. All right. Nice little coat there on that. Now, we're going to put this down into a Ziploc bag for curing. And you could put it into anything that you could seal, but the reason we're going to use a Ziploc bag is this thing needs to be flipped every day. And we'll go through that process. So for the next 7 to 10 days, depending on how long it takes to cure, the thicker it is, the longer and harder it is to cure. Got to clean this Ziploc bag lip off here. Got to make sure that's clean. You really want it sealed good on this dry cure. It's best to use a little wet rag to clean this edge off of here. Just a little damp rag, get that salt that got in these little grooves out. Because you definitely want to make sure that this thing is sealed good and it's not going to come apart. Because if it leaks or if you open it up and it comes out, we'll go ahead and extract most of the air out. Well, see. push most of the air out of here. And there we have it. I'll get that one done, and we'll put it in the refrigerator. I'll put it back on a cookie sheet or something, and for the next 7 to 10 days for it to firm up. We'll flip it side to side, and what flipping it side to side does is it causes the juice, juice inside the meat will begin to extract out, and you want to flip it over, and it'll continue to kind of baste it over and over. So that's that process.
It's been a couple of weeks since I put this in there. I had some things I had to do, so I couldn't do it right on the 10-day mark. But you know, it doesn't really matter. You can leave it a lot longer than 10 days. I actually have a bad case of laryngitis today, so you're just going to have to bear with me as I struggle through this. Got to do it when I got to do it, and I happen to have laryngitis. So anyways, let's take a look at how she looks. Been flipping it every day for the past 2 weeks, just flipping it from side to side. It turned out pretty good. It's got a nice dark color to it. It's real firm, not squishy. Just really looks good. And you could actually just wash and eat it just like this. You know, if you wanted just to have some fresh, it wouldn't be bacon necessarily. It'd be cured meat. We need to go through the smoking process to actually turn it into bacon, but it all looks good. It looks like it's all cured well. Just as I told you, put it in there, flip it from side to side. All of it's really good. So next process is to take it out and wash it, soak it a little bit, and dry it. So we'll go do that. Got our sinks all nice and washed out here, and we're getting ready to go ahead and start unpackaging the meat and washing it. It was nice. It was soft when it went in. Now it's nice and stiff. So I'm just going to go ahead and use cold water, and we're just going to kind of wash that salt off a little bit. We're just trying to get a little of the excess salt off the outside of it, so it doesn't turn out so salty. Yeah, that's good. That drain a little bit. We're going to soak it in the ice chest for a little bit. Kind of draw a little bit more of the salt out of it before we go to the drying process. We'll go ahead and wash all this and just soak it in some water for about 30 minutes. Okay, so I've got the meat all soaked about 20-30 minutes and dried out. I mean, actually drained. And now I'm beginning to hang it up here, as you see. And I'm just using these little strings like I made her. I'm going to show you how to make. Basically, all this is just a piece of fishing line, 30-pound test. And I'm going to show you right here how to make this. I made a little video earlier, so here's that video. So we're preparing to hang up some bacon, some cured meat, to get ready for the next process. And I'm going to show you how I hang it up. You can hang your meat up however you want to hang up, but you really want 360-degree air around it so that it can dry before the smoking process. And I'm going to use, for my process, and like I said, it's just the way I do it. You can do it however is easiest for you. This is a 30-pound test fishing line, and it's about 1 yard long. I'm just doubling it together, and just going to show you this little knot, because fishing line isn't easy to tie together in this way. It's a very simple way to tie it together, so I'm going to show you how I do it. I'm just going to tie a little figure 8 knot. Get up here so maybe you can see it better. This is fishing line. So I'm going around. Now people would come here, and they'd come back and tie through like this normally. But if you do that, the knot will actually, hold on, the knot will actually hold. That will not hold. If you pull it, it will come out. So what you're going to do, instead of going around once, you're going to go around again, and go around this way, and come back through this way here. And look, you have something that looks like a figure 8. That's what you want. That will actually hold, and when it comes under pressure, it won't come out. So go around once and then go back around. So we'll do it again. Just make sure you got it here. Bring it together. I've got a bunch of meat to hang up, so I'm making a lot of these. You can use nylon cord if you want, but do not use any kind of wire or hooks or anything. We're hanging up salted meat, and because we're hanging up salted meat, it will corrode anything, so you want to use non-corrosive stuff. So that's how you do it right there. And like I say, you can use nylon cord, fishing line, but nothing, no metal wire. Okay, so you've seen that video, and now you know how to make this little line. It's very simple. Got a piece of paracord here that I've tied some loops in across this room in order to hang this. We want it to air dry in 360 degree air all the way around it. So basically I just took a piece of wire here. This is kind of making a simple little needle. And all I'm going to do is take and put the fishing line here on it. Go ahead and get a piece of meat here and hold these together as close as possible and kind of run them through the meat there. Pull that through like that. So now pull that off so you've got your string through the meat. Okay, so we're just going to come over here to the paracord. Just loop it like that, put it through, and I've got a little piece of wire here, and it just holds it like that. So when you come time to take it off, you just pull that piece of wire out, you're done. And that's how simple it is. And I'm going to hang this up, and sorry, I have laryngitis, so just bear with me. What we're waiting for is for this to dry out till it gets kind of a membrane around it. We want it completely dry. We don't want to smoke it wet. You would think that you would smoke it wet, but if you smoke it when it's wet, it will not absorb any smoke. The water will repel the smoke. You'll get no smoke in. So you want it dry, and when it's dry, that's when the smoke will actually penetrate in there. It'll absorb the smoke in once it's dry. So it's kind of like a sponge that already has water in it. You can't put any more water in it. So what we're doing is drying it out, so that when it's dry, and that may take 2 to 3 days of air drying to dry it all out. So I'll hang it all up, and the next thing you'll see is me taking it down and getting ready to smoke it. Okay, so I've got the meat in the smoker. The bacon's here. They're all dried out and ready to smoke. Got it smoking here. When you're smoking bacon or hams or whatever, especially bacon because it has a lot of fat on it, you don't want any heat. So all I've done here is just put a shovel full of hot coals that I burned down in my fire pit, and just some wet mesquite wood. I've been soaking it here in this bucket just to produce smoke with very little heat. Really want as little heat as possible. We're not trying to cook it, we're just trying to get smoke on it. So we'll just let that smoke there. Doesn't take a whole lot of smoke, doesn't have to be rolling, just enough to absorb in and give it a good mesquite smell. I'll do a next batch with hickory, and so we're just waiting for that to happen. It'll be in here for a couple hours, and then we'll be done, and we can package it. So we'll do the hickory batch next. Okay, so it's been smoking for a while, and I had some company come over, so I got delayed, so I just let it sit in here. The smoke's done cleared out, but we can see that it's turned nice and yellow, and it's ready to be packaged or eaten just like it is. So I'm going to go on to the next stage of packaging it, and we'll be showing you that next. Alright, so we've got our nice slab of bacon here ready to go right off the grill, and so we're just going to go ahead and vacuum seal it, and lock it up here and seal it. Actually, this should be up here. This roll's a little big for this machine. It's aftermarket. Once it gets smaller, it'll actually fit in the tray. So let's see. That ought to be big enough. Let me turn it around here. Perfect. If I can get a better seal. There we go. And we're done. Ready to be put in the freezer until we're ready to slice it up for breakfast. Okay, so last night you saw how I finished it up. Right in the middle of smoking, I had a bunch of companies show up, so I couldn't do things as I normally would have. And so anyways, I ended up having to kind of abandon it in the middle process there, but I finished it. Smoked all by itself, and I did both the mesquite and the hickory smoke, and you saw how I did that. So I packaged it last night, and the reason you want to package it and kind of freeze it is because it's a lot easier to slice. I don't have a meat slicer, just have a cutting board and a knife, so it's going to be thick sliced bacon. But once you freeze it, it's a lot easier to slice because it's stiff. So I'm going to open the freezer here, and pretty much everything up here, this came off that one pig. Got a bag of ice here, but everything else, just a full layer of smoke. So, you know, just what I got here. This is actually a piece of backstrap, so I guess it would be technically Canadian bacon. You know, I'm calling it bacon, guys. There's a lot of people who might say that bacon can only come from the belly area on a pig, and if you're of that agreement, then okay, so don't call it bacon. But to me, if it smells like bacon, tastes like bacon, it looks like bacon, it's bacon. And to me, you know, bacon is simply pork meat with some fat on it that's cured a certain way, and so that's bacon to me. But if you don't want to call it bacon, you can call it whatever you want. But what, you know what I'm going to call it? I'm going to call it delicious. Let's give it a try. So I'm going to cut the packaging off here and open it up. And get the packaging off. Whoa, man, this is the hickory smoke. Boy, I take it out of that package, and wow, that's strong there. So we'll go ahead and kind of even her off, take that off there, and just start slicing it. It's so much easier to slice. A lot of fat on this. I may have to trim some off. This is a backstrap area. More fat than there is meat. I guess with real bacon, you kind of want about 50-50. It's starting to get a little more meat there. This is the end of the backstrap, probably. Look at that. Now, does that look like bacon? Looks like bacon to me. Whoa, check that out. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Look at that right there. That looks like bacon. Smells like bacon. And when I fry it, I bet it's going to taste like bacon. Oh man, look at that. Whew. I'm getting hungry. Getting hungry. Wow. Woo-hoo-hoo. I need me a meat slicer. Just zip, zip, zip. Look at that. Thick slice. Hoo, hoo, hoo. I'm excited. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Couldn't ask for anything better. Oh, it just, that hickory smells just so great on it. I don't have any local hickory here, but a friend of mine has some family over in Mississippi, and he visited them, and he brought back some hickory, and I called him yesterday, and he brought me some pieces of hickory to smoke with. And, oh man, that smells so good. That's just delicious. Well, you know, there you go. That's it. Now we're going to take it over here to the frying pan. Get the frying pan heated up and fry some of that up. And I'm going to tempt you guys while I fry this stuff. Okay, so here we are, and getting our pan all nice and warmed up here. I love cast iron. Cast iron is my favorite thing to cook on. You just can't beat it, and especially for frying bacon. So getting it hot. Let's put that delicious bacon down on there. Ooh, hear that sizzle. You call it what you want to call it. Just call it delicious. Listen to that. Now, I'm not sure how salty this is going to be. After I test it, if it actually is a little too salty, what you could do is put a little water in there and boil it just a little bit for maybe 10 minutes. Then dump that water off and fry it, and then you could extract a lot of that salt, depending how salty you like it. Some people like really salty bacon. Some people don't like a salty bacon. So you could just kind of do it, but you can put a little water in there and boil it. You know, in the part where before I dried it out, I soaked it a little bit to get some of the outside salt off, but that salt's penetrated all the way through. And you know, so like I said, once I taste this, I'll decide how salty it is and whether I need to kind of boil it a little bit or not. Depends on your personal salt taste. But oh yeah, that right there is just cooking down good. And you know, if it's a little bit too much fat, could always trim some of the fat off. I think bacon's supposed to have the fat, so it doesn't matter if it's a little extra greasy. You know, it'll cook itself off anyways. That's the whole point of bacon, right? Oh yeah, so it's starting to cook good here. Oh yeah. Oh, look at that there. Oh yeah. Doesn't that look delicious? The smell is amazing on this. The smell is amazing. Hickory smoked bacon, also mesquite smoked. You could use apple wood or whatever you want, but this is going to be hard to wait on. Well, I'll finish cooking this up and enjoy it myself. You'll have to make your own if you want to have some. If you've enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, and if it looked delicious to you, why don't you give it a like, subscribe to my channel. I'll be making more videos like this in the future, and send me a comment. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. I like both compliments and criticism if it's constructive. Like, subscribe, and comment. Until next time, this is the Jungle Explorer signing out.